Devereaux!
I'm Mr. Devereaux.
What's that humming mean?
Beethoven's Fifth.
I never said I was more than I am.
Welcome everyone to episode 40 of Kiss Meets the Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Eli Clausen.
And I'm Branton with the big 4-0.
Big foul out. We finally hit 40.
That's 4-0. I said that, but don't know my finger gestures.
Finally hit the big 40. I guess let's get all the bad shit out of the way first. As you can see, once again, it's just me and Branton. We were pretty much blindsided this morning by Chuck, who decided to up and quit the podcast out of the blue. Decided to go start a podcast for the band Iced Earth. And most of all, we wanted to apologize because last week we ended up making the announcement of the supposed guest that we're going to have today. I was hesitant on even making the announcement before it actually happened, and lo and behold, here we are looking like jackasses because of it.
And that's eating cake. It's my comfort food.
Yeah, and it's mostly, it makes me wonder, because Chuck was the one that was supposedly in contact with the guy. It makes me wonder if he even really did contact the guy at all, or if he was just blowing smoke up our ass. I don't know. So, I don't know. This is a lot different for me than when Chad left, because, Chad was already a friend before the show, and it was a much different situation. This one was just completely done, kind of cowardly. It's, just sending a message on Facebook out of the blue, not even telling us on Skype or even a text message at least, and it was just a real short message. What was it? I'm quitting the podcast. I started an Iced Earth podcast. Check it out. Hope we can still be friends. Well, screw all that, because, I barely even knew the guy, not even a month. So, no such thing as friendship there anyway, especially when you do us like that. And, I'm usually not one to be all, bitter and talking trash on the internet, but in cases like this, it's like, I'm not going to let it just slide. And so it is what it is. Anything you wanted to say about it?
Well, what I said to you before we started recording is, I don't trust a lot of people, and this is the reason why.
Yeah.
When something happens that, you think you're on the same page and you're not at all. And, I don't know if he had motives previously or if he really wanted, to be on a KISS podcast. But whether he decided to do it or to not do it, all he had to say was, face to face, at least on Skype, hey, I don't want to do this for this reason, that reason. Or I can stay on, but I want to start this other podcast. That would have been fine. That would have been totally fine. It'd been a lot easier to deal with.
Yes.
And I'm not normally one to say a lot of negative things and air out stuff online either. But, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And this definitely wasn't the right way to do it.
Right. And, yeah, I wouldn't have been all upset or anything if he was wanting to do another podcast, because you and I had both sat here and talked about possibly doing a second podcast on the side and things like that. I mean, I'm juggling two bands, let alone this podcast as well. And apparently, he can't multitask to even do two podcasts. And another thing he mentioned, by the way, was he lost the what did he say, the passion for KISS all of a sudden, just like that. He just magically loses passion for the band after all he was the one that contacted us wanting to be a third co-host, was acting all excited about it, was gung-ho, talking about this and that, And then he even made a joke last week. I'm not sure if it made it in the show, but he had mentioned, "Oh, I'm the Mark St. John of the show," and I guess maybe that was kind of a cryptic thing that he was saying. Maybe he probably already knew he was leaving. So he only technically made it through 3 shows, but only 2 of them that actually aired because I screwed up and had accidentally deleted the one. But so I guess, yeah, he's the Mark St. John of the show now. He lasted barely a hiccup. And I agree with Brandon. It's going to be a lot harder to really trust anyone if anyone else comes forward that wants to be a co-host.
Yeah, just to say, we're real easy to get along with.
Yeah.
And we like to have fun. That's why we're doing this. And, there's no reason for drama, and we didn't create this drama.
Yeah, we never sat here and argued off camera, off recording or anything, and it never seemed like, I try to welcome people with open arms. As soon as Chuck was officially announced to be on the show, I treated him like I've known him for years, and the way me and Brenton are, it's, that's just how I am. And so, if anyone does come down the pike again to be a co-host, who knows how long again it might be, if at all. It's, they're really going to have to prove themselves this time because, it's pretty much happened twice now. We need to make sure this person's going to be committed and, truly a diehard Kiss fan and not just going to lose passion in the, breath of a fart or something like that. But, so yeah, I don't want to, sit here and spend too much of the show on it. I just wanted to address it and kind of get a little bit off my chest about it. And he hasn't even bothered to respond to any of our messages because we thought maybe it was a joke at first and whatever the case, but all of a sudden he hadn't responded, so it is what it is. And again, we apologize. We had kind of built up the guest last week and it fell through, of course. Not even sure if it really was ever a thing. So that's something I guess we should have handled ourselves. But we'll go on from there. So again, we'll keep on rolling like we always have. And if anyone else comes down the road that is interested in being on the show as a host, hey, contact us. But again, you're going to have to really be a diehard fan.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be a guest, that's totally different. You don't have to worry about it, like we've said before.
Right.
Don't matter who you're a fan of or how much of a Kiss fan or, whatever. But if you're going to be a co-host, that's totally different. And I understand that all podcasts are different, even if it's a Kiss podcast. All of them are different. They have their own format. They have their own people on there and, what they're into and how much of a fan they are. That's fine, whatever. But because of this, they just have to be really what they say they are, and they have to prove it.
Right. Like he said, when it comes to being a guest, you don't have to be a diehard fan. We welcome all. But as far as, being one of the hosts, it's putting in content for the show and participating. You kind of do need to be a little more than just a average fan and, not be able to lose passion for a band in the blink of an eye out of the blue.
Of course, me and you both, we listen to all kinds of music. So it's not just that we listen to Kiss and nothing else. And we're not saying that has to be the case. But, you either like a band or you don't. You don't stop liking a band. I mean, I can't really say. It depends on individuals, I suppose. But I can't just stop liking a band. If I once liked a band, I still like a band. I might not agree with, stuff that Kiss does or don't do or things that Gene says or whatever.
Right.
But I still like Kiss as a band. I haven't, you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. We're not, we've said before, we're not butt kissers that are 100% with everything that Kiss does and says because we criticize a lot of it too. So it is what it is. But now, as far as just not liking bands in the blink of an eye, I guess Iced Earth is one now. So I can't even say I had anything of theirs anyway, but whatever. That's that. So I guess that's pretty much all I want to say about that. We've already spent about 10 minutes on it.
So what's our topic for the show?
Well, this week in the KISS anniversaries, though, on this date, August 29th, was the beginning of the Unmasked tour in Australia.
I wish I could have seen that.
Yeah, I wish I could have too. All the, let's see, how many shows did they end up doing? 3, 4?
Was it just Australia that did they tour extensively in other countries too for that? I want to say they probably did, but I'm not sure.
Australia, New Zealand. I think they only did technically one American show. That was Eric's first show, the Palladium. But I believe it was mostly Australia. Hell, you got the Life Forever book. That would tell you.
Yeah, that would definitely tell me.
I don't know. Should we maybe talk a little bit about the show this past week?
That's totally up to you. I think it's definitely worth talking about.
So if most of you may not be familiar, I know we've kind of sort of talked about it here and there on the show. I'm a member of a KISS tribute band called Sweet Pain. I'm the drummer, portraying Eric Carr. Right now we're kind of doing the whole Creatures theme. We had our first gig this past Saturday. It was a charity event. Felt like it turned out to be a pretty good show. It exceeded my expectations. Really good sound. Branton was there. He took a lot of great video. It turned out good sound quality. If you go to his YouTube channel, you can find those on there. So, input on that?
Well, yeah, I was going to upload some of those to our podcast Facebook, but I thought I would wait and see. But yeah, as far as for our first show, I don't know how much practice you guys had, but it looks like you've been practicing every day, because that was I couldn't ask for a better show. It was a good time. I think everybody that was there had a good time.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
And there was quite a few people there. Actually, but it was a good song selection, and I think, being on the side of the audience, I didn't see any problems. I'd heard a few things that went on, but I didn't see any of that stuff. As far as like technical issues or whatever. Of course, I'm not in a band either, so I don't know a lot of the ins and outs of that kind of thing. I used to be in a band years ago, but it wasn't to this level at all.
Yeah, there was a few little snafus, but, being that it's first show, you kind of expect that, and just things that are more to focus on. I'm not the kind of person that sits here and toots my own horn and thinks that it was absolutely perfect and gold. I'm very critical of myself as well as, the whole music in general. So, but it was a good time. The people enjoyed it. It felt good.
And you signed some autographs, I think.
Yeah, we actually signed some autographs, took some photos with people. Sounds like we got some more show offers already in the books, and waiting to hear about those. Hope they come through. Pretty excited. Let's see.
But you have a guy playing Vinny, too.
Yes.
Since you're Eric.
Yes, Luke, who is also in the band Biogenesis on Rocks Records. He's playing Vinnie Vincent, killer guitar player. Again, check out Branton's videos. One of the videos has Luke doing his guitar solo. It was smoking. Not literally like Aces did, but smoking playing, yeah. Yeah, it was a real cool experience, after all the, I don't know, I can't even remember when I actually joined the band, like March or April. I think it was March. Yeah, so what, maybe 5 months or so, almost 6 months. And, we practiced once a week, every Sunday. And, there was even a few weeks there where we didn't get a practice in, whether, something might have been going on. So, once a week for 4 or 5 months, let's say, and that was our preparation for the show, and felt like we pulled it off pretty well. So
And it was Blood and Fire, which impressed me.
yeah, Blood and Fire. Unfortunately, the other pyro we had didn't quite work, but again, something to polish up for the next show. I'm already jonesing to do it again. I'm ready to hear what the next date's going to be and where, and do it again. And
Something that I was asking you about, I don't know how many weeks ago, when you're talking about your costumes and stuff, about the long sleeves, you was going to burn up. Well, you didn't probably burn up, did you?
no, honestly, it felt pretty comfortable. I mean, for one, we were playing outdoors, so it was kind of cool out that night. Decent little breeze, plus we had fans going, and honestly, compared to wearing regular clothes, it felt a lot more comfortable and cooler with what we were wearing. So I my suit was pretty soaked when I went to take it off, but I didn't feel like I was sweating or anything or burning up.
Yeah, I think the weather was just right considering what you guys had to wear.
And the hair on my wig, which yes, believe it or not, I wore a wig because all this hair.
Was that wig made out of your chest hair? Is that what you wove it together?
A little bit of chest and anal hair too. So, but a lot of that hair kept sticking to the makeup. That was one of the main things annoying me. But I've tried to already look up ways to avoid that from now on, and I think I just need to use a little more powder and a little bit of Preparation H, and that'll solve that problem.
That'll take care of it. Or maybe you can braid the wig. Just braid it. Get some dreadlocks or something in there. Do like Snoop Dogg. Do that.
Cornrows. Gangsta Eric Carr.
Yeah, be like a rap tribute to Kiss.
Oh man, yeah.
You'd probably be the only one doing that too.
Yeah, again, check out Brandon's Facebook or YouTube channel for all the videos he posted. The band does have a Facebook page. It's a little in development right now. There needs to be a lot of work done to it, but it's Sweet Pink Kiss, I believe is what it's under. So if you want to look it up on Facebook, check it out. I'm sure we'll update it. We got a bunch of pictures that people took, and with the video clips, I'm sure we'll throw all that stuff on the page too. And obviously, once we get some more dates booked up and all that stuff too. So, yeah, it was good. I'm ready. I'm ready for the next one.
I asked you this after the show, but I asked Luke too what your favorite Kiss song was to play, and you gave me about 4 or 5, and I think Luke gave me about 3 or 4. Because he said that's a really hard question. I said, yeah, it is a hard question. I said
it is, and for me it was probably Domino and what did I say? Domino and
you said about 4 or 5 different ones. I'm trying to think now.
Let's see, I'm trying to even think what we did now. Domino is fun. Creatures is pretty fun. One that we didn't do, but I think it's fun to play, even though it's kind of simple, is Charisma.
I was just getting ready to say that would have been a cool one to do.
Yeah, that one's fun to play. Yeah, there's quite a few. As far as boring ones, honestly, shout it out loud's kind of boring to play, but again, it's a staple, so you pretty much have to. And I don't know,
X and Sex.
Kinda. I mean, there's a couple parts in there that are kind of fun, and
I don't think Kiss has ever done that live, other than the Unplugged convention thing.
I think
right?
so. Yeah, Dr. Love, that could be a little boring at times, but there's some cool rolls and stuff in there. So, but yeah, overall, it was a blast. I was burnt out and laying around like a sloth, on the couch the whole Sunday. But now that I've had time to rest up, I'm okay, I'm ready to do it again. So,
did you ever think that you'd be playing in front of the Kiss logo?
No, I never did. I never thought I used to just mention it as sort of like a pipe dream in a way, like, oh, I'd love to do a Kiss tribute band, but I didn't, I didn't have the gumption or the time to try to put one together myself. And just kind of, and I had even said, I don't care if it's just wearing regular clothes and not wearing makeup and all that and just playing the Kiss music. I would have been fine with that too. But, pieces kind of just fell together at the right time, and I'm very grateful for it, and I love it. So, I get like that after every show I play, like whether it's this or my other band, like I'm like drained, and the whole time I'm on the way home, I'm like, I don't want to do this again. This is, I'm so wore out. And then like within a day or two, I'm rested up. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do it now. Let's do the next one. Come on, when is it?
So when you tore your drums down, how long was it before you got out of there and got home?
Oh God.
Because I think we left about, I don't know, it was probably around 10 or 10:30 when we left, I think.
It was probably after 11, because that was part of it. See, because this is a whole different beast compared to my other band where you just play the show and tear down, that's it. Well, with this, obviously, you go back, taking the costume off, getting all the makeup off.
What time did you get there that morning? Was it that morning you got there?
Well, I got there about noon. I met up with Luke at noon because I needed to grab some of my drum pieces from the other studio, and then we went down and tore down the rest of the stuff and headed to the venue and did sound check probably around 3 or so, and then full band sound check around 4. But
too bad that wasn't videotaped. That'd be cool.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that would have been kind of cool to get that on tape. But yeah, I mean, it's such a whole, and I knew going into it that it was going to be a different experience from the normal shows that I play. But, like I say, you're backstage, fighting to get the costume off, getting all the makeup off, getting back in your clothes. You're kind of sitting there relaxed, and then I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, shit, I still got to tear down my drums.
How long did it take to put the makeup on and all that stuff?
It probably took a good 45 minutes to an hour maybe for me, because I kept kind of having trouble with things that I didn't like the way it looked, so I kept trying to go back and fix things, and just learning process. And I've already got some ideas for next time to hopefully make it a little bit easier and look a little better too. And
oh, maybe you can make a makeup tutorial in the future.
Yeah, just like I could do like a singing lesson.
Well, you can do both at the same time.
Sing the instructions.
Sing while you're putting your makeup on, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that, like, oh God, I still got to tear my drums down. Oh, and did all that, and then getting it loaded up. And then, obviously I didn't want to drive around with the drums in my car all week. So we went back to the studio to hurry up and unload everything. And I was just like, oh, hurry up, get it done. And not to mention, it's still almost an hour drive to even get back home too on top of that. So, but again, it's worth it. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. So,
well, I think that place that you played was perfect because there's like no houses around. You have to worry about stopping at a certain time because the sound was great, obviously, but then you don't have no complaints. It's like just cornfields.
Yeah, I'm glad it ended up being outside because originally we thought we were going to be inside, which was probably going to put a lot of limitations on pyro and whatnot. And come to find out, I guess the capacity would have only been like 50 people, the way everything would have been set up. So that's why they moved it outside, thankfully. And yeah, I definitely felt like it went well. All the guys in the band, they busted their ass the day prior, going out there building the stage and getting things ready for the next day. They did, twice the work I did because I wasn't even there on that day before the show to help out. But, they busted their ass doing all that. And then not to mention the day after the show, going back to tear it all back down. So again, they busted their ass a lot harder than I did. That's for sure. So, but yeah, it was all worth it. Would do it again. I'm ready to do it again. I'm just waiting to hear what the next.
Well, you
date's gonna
guys have a couple. I don't know if you call them roadies or what you call them.
Yeah, we had some guys that were helping us out with, you know, kind of getting things ready, and yeah, they were kind of coming back when we were backstage, getting ready and waiting, and you know, bringing us water and stuff like that, which was, you know,
The fact that you have your own costume designer, that's pretty cool.
yeah. And then we ended up having a hair person come in, which I didn't know that was going to happen. And she comes in, you know, she started kind of working on my wig and did a few things to it and put some stuff in it and helped it out, and you know, told me, you know, put it in a pillowcase with powder or something to get all the hairspray off of it. And
Oh, really?
you know, I didn't expect that. And she come walking in, I was like, oh, cool. And, you
Was
know,
her name Pixie, or was that the costume designer?
the costume designer's name is Wanda. I'm not sure what the hair designer's name was.
Well, you know, that's a reference to, I don't know her last name, but Pixie was on the Dynasty tour. She
Oh.
did the Dynasty costume. Whatever her last name was
That went over my head.
Pixie something.
Dust.
Pixie Dust.
So, yeah, that was that. That was a interesting weekend.
Yeah, I had some people at work ask me, "What'd you do this weekend?" I said, "I went to a Kiss tribute concert." And oh, really? I seen you posted some pictures on that or whatever online. Yeah, I said that was it. And said, was it pretty good? I said, yeah, it was real good. And my dad asked me that today, and he don't normally ask me. I don't know, and he don't have a Facebook, so I know he didn't see anything on there. I said I went to a Kiss tribute concert. He goes, well, what's that? And my mom said, it's a band that dress like Kiss and play Kiss songs. Oh, she said, but it's not Kiss. Oh.
It's like that person that came up to me, are you in the band that dresses like Kiss? As I'm sitting there in full makeup and costume. Yeah.
What gave that away? Can't go anywhere without being recognized.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was going to ask you too. I think I did ask you this once before, but like when you guys are without makeup, you try to hide your identities and stuff.
No. I thought it was funny that our Paulie was running around with his makeup still on after the show was over, and
Yeah.
he wasn't in a hurry to take it off apparently. So
Well, I was. What was it? A lot of the newer Kiss fans probably they don't know what I just meant when I said, you know, like when Kiss was in the 70s, no one knew what they looked like, so they had to keep their face covered with their hand or their handkerchief or whatever.
yeah, sometimes they'd wear like a weird mask or like a knight's helmet or something.
Or bandanas tied around their face and stuff.
Yes,
I mean, there's a lot of video of that on YouTube, I guess.
we were asked, by the way, by one of our viewers and a friend of the show that we kind of elaborate on some of the Kiss things that we mentioned like that not everybody may know about. So there you go. There was one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll keep
And
that.
he didn't even know that. See, he
I
was
didn't even know. So
reading my mind. So there you go, Corey.
I do have that ability.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to get, you know, like at least one of the guys or all the guys at some point on this show to kind of discuss it more and, you know, get their Kiss story. But
Yeah.
since the day I went and auditioned for the band, I mentioned this show and I've been wanting to do it. So, you know, maybe we can drag one of them on here soon.
Yeah. Or yeah, I mean, I don't know how easy it would be to have all of them on at once. That's probably not going to be able to happen unless they're all sitting in one room somewhere.
Well, I mean, even if it's separate, I'm sure it could happen.
Yeah, one at a time would be fine. That actually might be better, depending on how Skype's going to act.
Yeah. Well, I'll look into that. Especially this week at practice, maybe I'll I'll really hound them about it.
Well, and while we're waiting for maybe them to be on, we can get Joseph Kiss Sr. on.
There you go. Maybe we
I
can
don't think
get.
he's on any podcast. I don't think anyone's ever seen him in I don't know how long, years.
Maybe we can get the second or third guitar player in Gene's band, since the first one apparently fell through.
Well, yeah, he has 3 guitar players, doesn't it? Which is odd. By the way, since I need to elaborate, Joseph Kiss Sr. is mentioned on the Kiss Exposed home video. So I don't know if that's on YouTube, but if you're able to get a copy of that, you'll see Paul Stanley talk about that real briefly.
Yes. Do a Google search. There's probably an image of on there somewhere.
Probably on my Facebook page. On my Instagram, there should be one.
But there would be no Kiss without him.
Or no, I guess it's on our Facebook page, right? Remember I posted that? Not so long ago?
Yeah, that's right. You did, yeah. Brandon
Yeah.
put a picture on our page, so just go back a few weeks and check it out.
That's our podcast page, I think.
Yes, there would be no Kiss without Joseph Kiss Sr. The man that started it all.
No, he did, and that I think I don't remember what character he actually played, or the original. He wasn't playing a character; he was the original character, I guess.
Exactly. He was all the characters in one.
I was going to say the Bandit, but yeah, all the characters were better. And that's probably why Doc McGee wore that same makeup design of all the characters. And then on the Kiss Symphony, the Beethoven has the same makeup design. So
Didn't Neil Bogart do that too? In that one old picture?
he did too. I think he was the first one, other than Joseph Kiss Sr., of course.
And where was I going with that? I forget now.
Vinnie Vincent.
Not this time.
I haven't heard anything else about that, have you? I mean, there's been an enormous amount of stuff posted about Vinnie Vincent, like past interviews and all kinds of stuff related to Vinnie Vincent. I'm assuming because of this Atlanta Kiss Expo he's supposed to be at. And I watched a clip of Paul and Gene and Bruce at the Unplugged tour that they did. What was it, in 95? And someone had asked them a question about, I don't know the exact question, but basically, why was Vinnie Vincent fired from Kiss, something like that. And Paul gave the stock answer, and then the guy that asked the question, he said, that's a fair question. Paul said, yeah, you're right. It is a fair question, and I'm going to give you a fair answer. And Paul gave a really thorough answer, and Gene gave a really thorough answer, and even Bruce had some real choice words to describe how he felt about Vinnie Vincent.
Wow.
My mouth was open, because not only did they give a real answer, but Bruce gave an answer that Paul and Gene didn't even elaborate on, and for him to go there, I mean, I didn't know what to think. But I'll send you a link if you haven't seen that.
Yeah, I don't think I have. And like Bruce said, he used to just kind of roll with the flow, but when it was needed, he would definitely speak his mind. And
yeah, because he was saying what he said, and Paul looked at him and looked at Gene. He goes like that. It's like, because they were just as surprised, I think, that was coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, give the fans the truth. Don't sugarcoat it. That's why we're asking those questions. We want to hear it. and then you turn around and talk about it in your book. So
right. Yeah, and that was way before any of them had a book. So
right.
Nobody had any access to anything that we didn't, other than up to that point, and we only knew. Well, it's like, for years there's so much stuff about Kiss growing up, and we've said this before, that fans just didn't know because you had no internet to find anything. And then if you're just going to give a stock answer to every question you're asked in a magazine, you just take that as the truth because you don't have anything to compare it to. And then when you find out, oh, well, and I'm just using this as an example because it doesn't bother me. Oh, the Kiss Alive was overdubbed. Some people they flip out about that. Me, I don't care one way or the other, but we didn't know that when we was growing up. I mean, I never even I didn't even know what overdub was.
Right.
I was, Probably even in my 20s, I didn't know what overdub. I didn't know what that meant. Didn't care. Still don't care.
It's like I said, growing up, that was a Live Kiss record, in my opinion. Alive 2 was a Live Kiss record. Psycho Circus was all 4 members, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, I'll say that Kiss Alive, to me, and I haven't heard every live album ever made, but Kiss Alive is the best live album of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first album I ever bought. It's the first Kiss album I ever bought. And it's, from that point on, I mean, there was, you become a Kiss fan, and that's just, for me, that's the way it was. Actually, my mom bought it, but, it's still, it's still.
And that was Peter playing drums on Dynasty and Unmasked. He was on the cover, so to me, that's the way I felt when I was a kid. So.
And that's really what they were trying to accomplish.
Exactly.
Because I don't think it would have made any sense to a 12-year-old kid for them to come out and say, well, we had Bob Kulick come in and play some songs on Kiss Alive 4, Kiss Alive 2, Side 4, because Ace was doing this or that. I mean, even if we'd have read that in Hit Parade or whatever, it wouldn't have made any sense. It still wouldn't have mattered.
Right. But
at the same time, that's probably the reason it wasn't mentioned. I mean, that's probably one reason at least, because their fans was so young that it's like, that's not relevant.
Exactly. Now, backing up a little bit, you need to elaborate on what the internet is.
The internet.
For those that don't know.
It's the information highway of porn. It was designed for people to watch porn on for free and to get viruses on your computer. So you'll go buy a new computer when your crashes. That's basically what the internet was designed for. It's a ploy to brainwash people into watching porn and buying more computers.
And there you have it.
That's it.
Better to get a virus on your computer than a real virus by going out and getting a hooker or something.
Right. Well, yeah.
So, porn is that filter on that.
Yeah, 'cause if you crash, you're not going to be able to be rebooted.
That's a sticky situation.
Green screen, I'm just done.
Now, you're all about the VR porn and stuff now, so virtual reality.
Virtual reality. It took me a while to really talk about that. Yeah, the VR. Well, we're supposed to have those by now. What happened? Like the real headsets that everybody looks through, and that's supposed to be the way that sort of didn't go anywhere, did it?
Kinda. Yes and no.
I mean, I'm not up to date on a lot of that, so maybe it did.
I guess you could buy the ones that you put your phone in are fairly cheap, actually. But then the ones for like the PlayStation thing that they sell VR, that's like it costs as much as a PlayStation costs itself.
Costs as much as a car.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I was I totally forgot what I was going to say now, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, kind of back a little bit, with the Vinny thing, I haven't heard any more updates yet, so I'm assuming as of now they're, everything's as planned.
Well, I think we both know, let's just tell the truth, we both know where Vinny is, because you played with him Saturday night, and he did a great show, so I mean, we already know where Vinny Vincent is.
If only that was the real Vinny Vincent.
Well, I will say, and Luke, if you're watching this, you play as good as Vinny Vincent, if not better.
Better.
So, he's playing the right character, I guess.
And he's a lot easier to work with, too.
That's a plus.
Very.
So, I hear there's this new band out that wears makeup, and they call themselves, what is it, Smooch or something like that? No, that's not it.
Fuck.
I think that's it, yeah. Which is an anagram for foreign lawful carnal knowledge. I think they're a Van Halen tribute band or something, I'm not sure.
So, oh shit. Where was I going?
Van Halen. By the way, Wolfie's supposed to put out a solo album. Did you hear that?
I did hear that. I wonder if the rumors are true that I've heard potential rumors about Michael Anthony coming back.
That's what I heard, and it's almost like, okay, well, at the same time, not directly at the same time, but right around after that, then I heard about Wolfie doing a solo album, and he's been working on it, and it's all finished, and it's coming out this month, I think, or something. So it's like, that's strange.
I would definitely be interested to hear that, because I'm sure he'll have a bunch of guests on it and everything.
Well, he's actually he's playing all the instruments, and he's singing too. From what I heard.
Jesus! Wow,
that's what I heard.
Yeah, the kid is he's great. I mean, Eddie. I used to hear Eddie say himself that he smokes him on guitar. So, I mean that's saying a lot.
That's pretty good, yeah.
You know, like Bruce Kulick's newest album, BK3, I thought that was a really good album. Really enjoyed it. Probably my favorite track is the one that Nick Simmons is on. I really enjoy Nick's voice, the way he sings that song. I mean, it's...
That's something else I've sort of wondered about. You know, I think, was it the last Kiss Cruise or the one before that Nick and Evan Stanley did a Zeppelin song together?
I think that was last year.
And I know that Evan has
the Dives.
The Dives, and I don't know do they have an album out?
I don't know if they do yet. I think they just recently got picked up on a label, so I'm sure eventually they'll be doing one. And I think they're out, kind of doing like a little tour right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'm surprised that Nick or Sophie, either one, doesn't have a CD yet. I thought Sophie was putting one out. Sophie Simmons.
I thought she does have one out.
I know she did a single, and it came out on Casablanca. Remember that?
Yeah.
But beyond that, I haven't heard anything. And then, like, on Family Jewels, I know you wasn't a fan of that show.
Yeah, I was.
Nick was a fan of that show?
Mm-hmm. It's not Asshole.
Right, well, that's true. Nick was talking about, I guess, the band he was working on at the time. Might be the same one, I don't know. Something about a name, and Gene was saying to use the name Fist. And I thought that name was copyrighted because I think that's an old band's name. I don't know if Gene knew that at the time, but you know, they had that conversation. So it led me to believe that Nick was going to form a band, but I haven't heard a thing about it.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually has a band now or if he's just doing a solo thing. I think he's like, you know, filled in a few times with different bands here and there for, you know, live shows, and, you know, obviously doing the guest spot on Bruce's album, and you know, but that's like I said, that's my favorite track on the album, man. You know, great voice on there. The way he sings that, it's really, really, really good. I like it better than the song Gene's on. So
I think it'd be really interesting, and it'll probably never happen, that all three of those that we mentioned do a Kiss tribute album.
What if those were? I know everybody thinks this and says it, but what if they were the ones that became Kiss 2.0? And I know everybody thinks that's the logical choice. And
well, first of all, this is just my opinion. I would support Kiss 2.0 just because it's the only at that point that's the only Kiss we're going to have, whether we think it's the real Kiss or not. But if it was, you know, some relation to the guys in Kiss, it would give it a lot more credibility in some of the fans' eyes that are against it altogether, because they'd say, "Oh, it's a tribute band, blah blah blah." So yeah, I think that would probably make it easier on some people to deal with. But at the same time, I don't think Sophie, Nick, and Evan would ever want to do that, because I look at it this way: if my dad was a famous rock star, I wouldn't want to be him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I would want to have his influence, but I wouldn't want to try to take his place, if that makes any sense.
Right. They, you know, I understand where they're coming from. They don't want people to think that they made it because of who their dad or mother is, and they want to do their own thing, and they want it to be completely opposite end of the spectrum from what the parent did, you know, in this case Kiss. And, you know, I totally get that and I support it, but and they're they're damn good at what they do too on their own. So, you know, I would love to hear, like, just for shits and giggles, like they did on the cruise last year with Zeppelin, is maybe them just do a couple Kiss songs just for the hell of it, just to see what it would sound like. I don't know.
Between Nick's vocals and Evan's guitar playing, I mean, I could imagine what they could do with a Kiss song.
And I don't know if Evan really sings, but I'd like to hear him sing and see how much he might sound like his dad.
Because, you know, if you watch some footage of, I don't remember what it was, I seen not too long ago, I think it was with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. They had George Harrison's son, and he looks just like a young George Harrison.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you would swear that's who that is.
Yeah, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's great too, man. And you know, look at John Lennon's kids. You know, especially Julian. I mean, when he first came out, everyone thought it was John Lennon. I mean, he sounds a lot like him.
Yeah.
You know, Sean, on the other hand, not so much. But again, he kind of did the other end of the spectrum type of thing with his music career. He's kind of done some far out type electronical stuff, and you know, now recently he did that album with Les Claypool, and you know, so you know, that's what works for him. So,
but I think that, and my opinion is with Julian, I think that he, because he was sort of estranged from his dad at the time, for years and years, not at the time, but for years and years, I think he was sort of, I don't think he liked those comparisons too much. I mean, I don't know. That's just my impression.
Yeah, probably at the time he didn't, since they were, you know, pretty much grown apart. He probably kind of resented him. But from what I understand, like, they were, you know, really starting to patch things up, you know, right at the time that John was murdered. So, you know, one of them things. But so, yeah, anyway, I would love to see if the Dives do have an album out now, but if not, whenever they do release one, I would definitely be all over it. Same, you know, I don't know if Nick had ever put an album out yet or not, but if you guys haven't heard that song by Bruce Kulick on that album, go look it up on YouTube. I don't have the CD handy right now to tell you the track name, but it should be pretty easy to find.
Well, according to the Kiss Expo we went to, Bruce and his wife was working on something, weren't they?
Were they?
Weren't they going to release? Weren't they doing like an album together? I don't know if it. I don't think it was Kiss material. It seemed like that he said that at the expo. I don't remember now about the details of that, but
see, I might have missed that because that was probably when we were still in line for Eric.
Might have been.
So I may have missed him talking about that. Because I remember them doing a couple of the Kiss songs on acoustic, but when he was doing
I think he mentioned that on one of those videos that I recorded it's on my channel. I think it's on one of those videos. I'm not positive, but when he said something about that.
Yeah, and when he did the electric thing, I was like really wanting to and hoping that he would play Unholy, and then go figure I'm standing in line in the other room and I sort of heard it, but I really wanted to see him play because I just, you know, I love the riff and everything. And
we missed that too. So
yeah, but
have you seen any video from that? I think I did. I don't remember now.
Yeah, I think I did watch a little video after it was over, but I don't think I've looked it up since, you know, the week or so after the expo. But you know, I'm definitely gearing up for the next one already, you know, because we're...
Well, the question is, are you going to the Atlanta Expo?
You know, I would, but again, whether it's flying or driving, that's pricey enough, and then paying almost $300 for his VIP, I don't know about that. And
well,
then...
There's like three or four different packages you can get or something.
Yeah, but then with the other one, you're just going to be standing in line most of the day, just waiting to get up to him. But with the VIP, you know, it won't be as bad. But you know, and I think I said this last week, but I'll take my chances and hope that if this all goes through and everything goes right, that Indianapolis can snag him up and bring him to the expo next year.
Well, I've seen some video recently of, I think the last one I seen was in 88 or 89. He was at a KISS Expo.
Mm-hmm.
The specific one that I seen, I don't know what the very last one appearances he's made. He seemed really nice. He seemed really happy to be there. You know what I mean? He seemed like he was ready to answer questions, and and I'm thinking, okay, I've heard a lot of nice things about Vinny, and I've heard a lot of negative things, and I don't know where that line is. It's like, does he just wake up one day and he's the jerk, and he wakes up the next day and he's not? I mean, everyone has bad days, but I'm sort of, I don't know the guy. I wish I did. I would probably have a better insight.
Yeah, I think 95 or 96 was the last expo he did, but, I get the same impression from the videos I watched. He's real nice. He makes sure he's answering the question as best as he can for the person. He'll ask you. He is a little soft-spoken at times, so sometimes, they have to tell him, speak up a little bit. And, I think it just kind of comes down to, his work ethic, that maybe he's a little, OCD or anal when it comes to that. That's why can be hard to work with, because he's probably, he sees it the way he thinks it should be. But then when it just comes to being, a regular human being, that he could be like one of the nicest guys there is. But that's my guess at it.
That might be, maybe that's the switch that gets turned on and off. Some people, when they're in their work mode, they're I compare myself, when I have a lot of stuff to do, it's hard for me to concentrate on anything else, and because I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this, no matter what it is, not just necessarily work related.
Yeah. So
until I get all that out of my head, I can't be my normal or my abnormal self.
Right. I kind of get the same way too. It's like, okay, let me get this done first off my shoulder and then focus on this, or like I'm still procrastinating on finishing this room here behind me. It still has a little bit left that needs to be put in order, but I just tend to procrastinate, and then eventually out of the blue I'll just up and do it one of these days.
By the way, I have some VHS for you to add to those stacks back there behind you.
Oh, really? And where'd those come from?
When we cleaned out our garage, I went through some of my VHS, and I must have got sidetracked, and I didn't go through all of them like I had meant to. So I was pulling ones out as I was going through the ones I did go through. So you can have them or take them to Goodwill, whatever you want to do.
Sweet. I'll check them out.
And I still didn't find that one yet. I'm still looking. I will have to go back out there and look all the rest of them to find that one, if I still have it, of me when I tape, of me, but when I tape Kiss Meets the Phantom off TV.
They filmed you sitting in front of the VCR hitting record. And,
I wish. me wanting to save everything. I'd love to have that.
Yeah. I hope you can find that, because I'd like to get a good copy to capture on the computer that has the commercials and everything.
I did find the Elvira Halloween special that I taped off of MTV.
Oh,
and it's
nice.
The whole entire thing with all the videos and all the commercials. It's like 2+ hours. Now I don't know how the sound would play on a VCR at this point, and I don't know if there's a way to enhance that. Like if you upload it on your computer, is there a way to enhance the, because sometimes it has like that hiss from a VHS. Is there a way to fix that?
Like that tracking noise?
I guess that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like, if it's one of them tapes that has like the hi-fi where it's the stereo sound, then you might be able to kind of mess with it a little bit. But if it's not, and it's kind of that, less, not as good a quality type sound, you know what I mean, on how some of them tapes are, like older tapes, then probably not really much you can do to it. But
I think I have I don't know if it's Headbangers Ball or if it's the show they had before with Dee Snider hosting it called Heavy Metal Mania. But I have some of that. I think it's the one with Dee Snider. It's got Metallica on it and them interviewing Metallica. Some of that stuff's on YouTube now, but I think it's like the whole show, the whole entire 2-3 hours, whatever it was. So I found too. I wish I had all of those because I thought I used to tape all of them, but through the years, either I taped over stuff to keep using the same tape, like people would do that probably still do that with soaps.
Yeah.
I used to do that with some shows.
They're programs.
Every week, yeah, my programs.
Yeah, I'd like to see both those tapes.
Yeah, I have them. I have them out now. I know where those are, but I'm still looking for some of the other ones. I found some of my movies that I took when those big camcorders that would sit on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And then some of them would still have to be attached to the TV. It's like I remember recording some of that. I found one tape that I'd recorded with that thing, and it's like, God.
I remember my parents had one of those cameras, and you'd put an actual VHS tape in it to record on. And
yeah, and think about that. I mean, I remember my dad borrowed one from somebody, and we had it hooked up to the TV, and we had some people over from people that was in the family, and we was all sitting there looking at it and aiming it at each other, and it's like, that was like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. Now I think about it, it's like caveman type stuff.
You ever notice, like, when you watch, like, old video footage like that, like when it was still sort of new and, like the people they film, they're always like smiling at the camera and waving, like almost like it's a regular camera, like they don't know what to do. And
yeah,
nowadays people don't do that stuff. But you watch that old stuff, they just like stare.
Yeah, I had people in my family that would either not say anything on purpose because they didn't want their voice recorded, or like my mom would put her hand up and it's like,
yeah.
She'd slam doors in my face and whatever.
Yeah, that's how my mom would be. She'd want to film all this and that, but if I tried to film her or take a picture of her, it was like, you think you're taking a picture of Medusa or something.
It's the mom thing or something.
Yeah.
It's the mom thing.
The mom jeans.
Mom jeans. Yeah, I need a pair of those.
You should be a 80s mom for Halloween this year.
Well, I was just getting ready to ask you, what do you think I should dress up for Halloween? Because people's been asking me, mainly at people I work with, and I didn't dress up last year because just like my biggest problem is I usually wait till the last minute, and then I don't have enough time to get anything together, and I get mad at myself.
That's usually me, yeah.
Yeah, or because, where I work, I can only dress of certain things. You can't just pick anything, because one year I work in technically a nursing home, and I dressed like a Grim Reaper one year. And it was the last minute thing. My mom had a clown outfit and she had a Grim Reaper outfit, and I didn't have any outfits. I waited too late, so I was going to be the clown at the last minute. I thought, that's stupid, I'll be the Grim Reaper. Well, this is no lie. When I walked in that morning to clock in, I guess, and this is sort of, I don't mean to make fun of this part of it, but there was someone that was on hospice, I guess, that was, going to pass away, and there was family members in there, and when I walked by, they seen me walk by, and they said, right after I walked by, that person passed away. So they're blaming me.
I don't mean to laugh.
I know. Isn't that crazy? They were blaming me for that. And the boss came up to me later, or not too long after, he had heard about it, and he said, well, what had happened, blah, blah, blah. He said, I'd like for you to at least take the hood off and not wear the hood. So I just took the whole costume off. I said, fine, I'm just, I mean, I didn't think about it ahead of time, being a nursing home. Didn't think it would be an issue. But, so there was 2 years after that in a row, I didn't wear a costume.
Oh my God.
And 1 year after, like the year before, year after that, I just wore a black shirt that said costume on it.
It's okay if you carry the sickle around, but just take that hood off.
Yeah, it was so, we're so limited on what we can do. Can't be anything scary. You can't dress like an old person. Obviously, a Grim Reaper doesn't work. So there, there's a lot of things you can't. You can't wear like a string bikini. You can't be a nudist. There's so many things you can't do.
That's like something a prankster would do, is walk into a nursing home dressed as a Grim Reaper.
Well, leave it to me. And people that didn't even work there at the time has heard that from other people and has said something to me. I heard you dress like you're a Grim Reaper one year. Yeah, that was me.
Tell me you have pictures of that somewhere.
I have pictures of me as the Grim Reaper. Yes.
I want to see those one of these days on the show.
Okay, I have them somewhere. It's probably on my Facebook.
But you did dress up in your video last year, though.
Oh yeah, that's true. I was going to wear that to work, and I decided not to, mainly because one, I have to work in it, and two, nobody's going to know who it is. And so I was like, I know, and anyone listening probably don't know who Hino is. But
like, are you Andy Warhol?
Yeah, well, they probably wouldn't even know who that is. Because one year I dressed like Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, and they just thought I was dressed like a woman. They thought I was a woman. I'm not talking about the residents. I'm talking about the employees. They didn't even know who I was supposed to be. So, it's just like, because if you don't dress like Dracula or something, they don't know who you are.
They said, take the hood off.
Yeah, take the hood off.
Oh, that is great. Only you.
Words to live by. Words to live by. Take the hood off.
As you walk by the room.
Yeah. I mean, what's the chances of that crap? So insane. But
oh, my God.
True story.
Oh, my God. That is great.
So what should I be for Halloween, then?
I think you should probably be...
Mortician?
An Undertaker.
The Undertaker.
There you go. The Undertaker. Or Paul Bearer. Oh, man. Well, I think that's a good way to end this episode. Just leave you with that mental vision, and hopefully we'll see some photographic proof next week. Alright, so again, to beat the dead horse, if anyone out there is interested in being a host, get a hold of us. Uh-oh. What happened there?
Can you hear me? Now I hear you.
Bingo. Oh, okay. So after that little technical snafu. Anyway, if anyone out there is interested in being a host, get a hold of us. And like we said, though, you're going to definitely kind of, prove that you are up to the task as far as being, dedicated is the main thing. And
you don't have to wear Kiss makeup, but you can if you want.
You don't have to be the, the encyclopedia of Kiss, but it'd be nice if you do know some stuff and some of the inside type stuff that, the casual fan may not know. But the main thing is being dedicated to doing this. And so, again, we're going to keep it rolling as long as we need to. With the two of us, if anyone ever does step forward again, who knows? If not, hey, it's really no thing. And again, if anyone wants to be on the show just as a guest, please come on. Anyone, please. We want to have anyone on. Talk. Let's talk. No matter how big of a Kiss fan you are or not a fan of Kiss that you are.
Yeah, if you want to talk about, Slim Whitman, we can do that.
Yeah, there you go. Or we can talk about Grim Reapers.
The band, Grim Reaper.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. All right, so...
I have one of their records, right here, so
Oh, well, how fitting is that?
How appropriate. See,
you-
that's me. That's me right there.
Did you ride the horse in, too?
I should have. I left him in the parking lot.
Oh,
Boy, it was a
God.
mess when I came back out there.
So, again, go check out Brandon's YouTube channel if you want to check out some of those videos from the show. He'll probably post the links on our Facebook page, too. And anything else you wanted to close with?
Don't dress as a Grim Reaper for Halloween if you work in a nursing home.
Oh, my God. All right, so until next week, we'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching.